Because of the development of technologies like AI, IT, and all allied technologies, this put at the disposal of the powers that be, or if I borrow an old phrase coined by Adam Smith, by the masters of mankind. They have enormous power at their disposal to mold, manipulate, and direct public opinion. This has become very vital and crucial in the period of democracy. We know that one of the greatest developments of the first half of the 20th century was the expansion of democracy, the introduction of universal adult franchise. For the first time, people who were not at all reckoned for anything will have to be taken into consideration because their vote counted with the expansion of franchise. So the opinion is to be manipulated, controlled, and their consents are to be acquired by the powers that be, or even those who oppose them. People's opinion happens to be very important in an age of democracy. Till then, they did not count for anything. Only the bigwigs, only the aristocrats mattered. The opinion of the ordinary people was of no avail, nothing. Did not impact upon any policy, any decision. No more so. So, the powers that be, who actually controlled the world, began to think furiously how to manage the dangers involved in democracy. Dangers to the top 1%. You know, I don't have to explain and spend time on that. There are possibilities of dangers to the dominant or the masters of the universe inherent in democracy. How to overcome that? These two dangers were identified by them as the possibility of controlling state dictatorship, the possibility of controlling the dictatorship of the capital. These are only possibilities. We have in theory a possibility of controlling the top 1%. But we know actually that is not happening. Actually the top 1% is controlling the rest of us. But the 142 crore people of India has the capacity, or technically or theoretically has the possibility to control this. How to address this problem from the point of view of the top 1%? And they do this through using cultural means, the means of the mind, by influencing the attitudes of the people, by trying to mold their opinions, by influencing their tastes. And for all these, the medium of the mind, the cultural medium is used, not weapons. How to control the mind? There are sort of several stratagems to control people's opinion. And it is from this historical context, this reality of the corporates, the powers that be, trying to control public opinion throughout the world, that Ed Herman and Noam Chomsky developed the concept of manufacturing consent, about which you are all familiar with. I don't have to explain that. So, this is to be manufactured. How? First off, people can be controlled by controlling their mind. So first, they decided to discourage free and independent thinking and train the people for obedience. If they do not train the people for obedience and discourage free and independent thinking, there is the possibility and danger of people realizing the real enemies, people realizing the real causes of their problem, of their misery. Then people will automatically pounce to the throats of the powers that be, to the throats of the masters. So they very plainly stated in their bodies that in order to keep the people from our throats, they have to be trained properly. Their minds are to be manipulated. So to manipulate their minds, everything should be done in their power. And what was their power? The greatest power being their money power. And they openly stated in the resolutions and meetings that we have to make use of our money power to control this. And they complained that there is too much of democracy. We have heard this refrain often. People saying that there is too much of democracy. Means that people are clamoring for their rights. You have to translate it like that. When we are told that there is too much of democracy, this is not a sentence from the ordinary people. This is a sentence from those who somehow suffered democracy or feared that they might suffer from democracy. There is too much democracy, but we know that there isn't that much democracy. This is one complaint. There is too much democracy, and the complaint that all the institutions are being taken over by the radicals. The universities, institutions, research institutions, all these are being taken over by radicals. This is a complaint always from the far right. The typical example being the assault on higher education, exemplified by the constant assault on JNU and premier institutions in India, and in the case of USA or Britain. There is always an attempt to assault, attack premier institutions where actually new knowledge is produced, new forms of critical awareness produced, and this new awareness and critical knowledge disseminated from so such centers should be discouraged. Such centers should be assaulted. Oh, that was part of a program. So how to overcome this? We know that one of the major phenomena of the 20th century happens to be the process called corporate propaganda. Deliberately, after very clear thinking, they set up a particular portion of the profit for propaganda to manufacture consent, to influence public opinion. And with this clear view in mind, with the assistance of very powerful technological tools owned by them, for instance, more than 98% of print media as well as electronic media is being owned by private hands, most by corporate houses. Can you expect truth affecting these people to come out of this media? You can't. You can't expect truth to come out of the media owned by Adani when the truth might hurt his interest. Truth won't come. So this is the scenario. So truth is at a discount. There is nothing mysterious about post-truth. Truth is at a discount. Truth, fact, and historical reality is at a discount and at a receiving end. Instead, all sorts of obscurantism, all sorts of mysteries are presented in the form of faith, in the form of legend, in the form of myth, in the form of religion or faith, ritual, belief, anything. So instead of relying upon facts and truth and reasonable thinking, rationality, emotive issues are put forward routinely. People should think about emotional issues. They should be swayed by emotional issues rather than actual facts, actual events. They should never get at the roots of a particular event. They won't be able to reach the truth of an event or a phenomenon. They are told that this is due to the activities of a particular religionist. This is due to the activities of someone among your neighbors who belongs to another caste, another religion, of another color, another language, etc. So truth is lost. So in place of truth, emotions are presented. And for this, there should be a mindset among people, a mindset which is incredibly low in analytical capacity and low in critical awareness, scientific temper. When you hear something, when you see something, there should be the supreme human faculty applied to it, namely rationality. You can't see everything directly by your eyes. It is not always right also. What you see in front of your eyes need not be the true thing. It can be a manipulated thing. If you want to see, and much less so about a hearsay. Even those things which you directly witness through your eyes can't be believed unless you put it to your reason, the touchstone of your reason. So unless there is an informed, rational citizenry, democracy will not function. If the people can be swayed by emotional issues, by massive, relentless and sustained propaganda, what will be the result? There won't be any time to think about the reality. Massive propaganda can smash everything. So, this will lead to wrong decisions, wrong attitudes, and finally, wrong political choices which will perpetuate the nonsense. So, how this can be countered? This can be countered only through reading alone. So, in this period, the relevance and crucial significance of the library has not waned, it has increased tremendously. So there need not be any misgiving about the importance of sustained existence of the library in the period of post-truth, in the period of AI or IT. It becomes much more significant. Fortunately, we get new trends from different parts of the world. Despite the pads, despite the technologically advanced cell phones, computers and the like, youngsters are turning to printed books. There is a recent study from USA, and we can also see even in Calicut or Cochin, when a book fair is held, Most people who visit the book fairs happens to be very, very young people. And that's a very heartening sight, you know. In the Sharjah Book Festival, the book showrooms which functioned up to 3 a.m. happens to be the book showrooms which provided Malayalam books. The show ended at 10 p.m. but those stalls which sold Malayalam publications functioned up to 3 a.m. There was huge rush always on all the days in the Sharjah International Book Festival. So there is immense popularity returning to the printed book. There is hope. Now, under these circumstances, what the library can do?
Rather 2 minutes.
I have to confine within 2 minutes. I have to make only 1 or 2 points here. Of course, what the libraries can do? Libraries should try to go to the people by dividing the work. By dividing the homes within the catchment area of a particular library among the different committee members, make constant contact with these people, do whatever you can to promote reading. In fact, we have started a project, Kerala State Library Council, called Vayana Vasantham, which aims to bring books to homes, all homes. To begin with, we will start with about 2,000 libraries. Of course, I can't explain all the details. But in a very decentralized manner, you have to organize this and go to the people instead of waiting for the people to come to the library. Then secondly, this is an age of technology. You can't blame the technology. Technology is not value free, as was stated earlier by Professor Chandrasekharan. It is not neutral. What we can do is to counter the propaganda by making use of technological means through technology only. Try to be masters of this. Make the maximum of information technology and AI to counter the great blast of propaganda against the people, against the people's interest, against national interest, against whatever is good we have achieved in this country or anywhere else in the world. Use technology. You can't fight the gun with the sword. When the gun comes, you have to use the gun to counter the gun. So with AI, if you are attacked, you have to counter it with AI. Of course, I have much more to tell you in terms of detailed activities which we can resort to, but we don't have time. Anyway, we can discuss those things in the sidelines if there is time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kunhikrishnan, because of that